Now, the lobby group Migration Watch UK has launched a petition calling on the government not to stop publishing daily totals of people arriving in the UK via the English Channel in small boats. The Home Office reportedly preparing to ditch the publication of daily figures. We've been sharing them with you every day of illegal crossings, which Migration Watch says amounts effectively to a cover-up. Alp Mehmet is the CEO of Migration Watch. I'm delighted to say he is here alongside Vicky Price, who, as an economist, may have a different perspective on migration, illegal or otherwise. But Alp, you're not happy with the Home Office, and it fails the sniff test straight away because these numbers are embarrassing.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to get even more embarrassing if the present trend, 6 times more this month than we had in January last year. So we're really looking at some serious numbers come the end of the year. How's the Home Office going to deal with them? It's already very costly and a lot more than we initially heard yesterday when we were told that housing a lot of those coming across the channel.
But just on this point, the Home Office has clarified today, they've given a figure, they've corrected a figure they gave yesterday for the cost of housing in hotels, asylum seeker applicants. It's actually for over £4 million a day.
£1.7 billion a year. And that was because of a drafting error, some error. I'm sure when Vicky was a civil servant, she would never have allowed that sort of mistake to be made. She would never have made that mistake herself. And that is really what it's all about. As far as I'm concerned, openness is about democracy. The moment we lose that, I'm afraid we start questioning our democratic right to govern in the way that we want to be governed.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant, Vicky Price, as the old saying goes, but actually as an economist, you know, data is gold, isn't it? You can't forge policy decisions without the right data.
Well, somebody does have the data. The question is whether they publish it. So policy decisions can still be made without any of us, of course, knowing what's happening. And I'm in great agreement that we need to know data as much as possible. The only issue is whether some of the way in which it is reported ends up sort of inflaming sort of worries about, all these people.
One person's inflaming as another person's engaging, isn't it?
That sort of thing.
It drives part of our news agenda, but that's partly driven because people are worried about it. They're worried about the fact that we do not know who is coming into our country on these small boats. We do know, as Alp suggests, the numbers are increasing really sharply. There are various projections, and year on year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as I say, there is no sense of where these people are going, what their purpose may be. There may be great positive contributions to our economy and society. They may be here to do us harm. We just don't know.
Well, all that needs to be possibly debated a little bit more because on balance, if you look at what's been happening with migration over a number of years, migration has been helpful to this economy. But what clearly is going on right now is that lots of legal routes for migration are not happening in a way that then can ensure these people get assimilated to society and contribute in terms of work and so on. That's where the benefit, if you like, comes. And that isn't really open at present, or at least it isn't as open as used to be the case. And I think that's what's perhaps confusing people when they look at the data. But it would be good to know what's happening and also why that data isn't going to be available.
Look, inflaming... If openness inflames an issue, then I'm afraid so be it. We've got to discuss it. As for legal routes and migration and how much that's contributed, what we're talking about now is illegal migration. And it's not true to say that we haven't had people coming in along regular routes. 184,000 since 2004. Apart from the net migration of millions during that time. So it's not as if people are not able to come to this country. All we are saying is, A, we should know how many are coming, and B, it should be in a much more measured way. But that's not the channel. The channel is about illegal immigration, and I'm afraid unless we deal with it, they are going to continue going up in numbers, and that is not sensible.
Alp Mehmet, on the central point that Vicky Price makes, that immigration is in and of itself a good thing, and that's become an article of faith, I think it's reasonable to say, in liberal democracies. And we look at Rishi Sunak, we've just been watching him, he may be our next Prime Minister. Not indigenous, You know, his family originally came from
Colin,
India.
look at Vicky, look at Alp Mehmet, of course, and no one. This is the problem, that the moment anyone says, let's have some controlled immigration, let's have sensible immigration, you're immediately labelled a xenophobe, someone who is against anti-immigration. That is not true. We are in favour of immigration, but sensible at the sort of rate and scale that we can cope with. At the moment, we can't.